Welcome to Five Senses with your host, Robert Zinni. Today I'm sitting down with Toni Denis, who's been a longtime contributor of our Five Senses magazine. Today's topic is marijuana in the state of Arizona. So go grab a drink, get comfortable, and we'll be right back. We are here with Toni Denis. The last time you were on our show, we talked about the new jail for the county, and today we get to talk about marijuana in Arizona. So Toni, thank you for coming back, and how you been?
I've been great. How about yourself?
Doing all right. I'm trying to navigate these new laws when it comes to marijuana for recreational use. And so what has changed in Arizona in regards to marijuana?
A lot has changed. The main thing that's changed is that it's legal for adults, 21 and older, and there's the opportunity for people to clear their records if they've had a marijuana conviction in the past. And other than that, I think that there's a lot less emphasis in law enforcement on pursuing cases relating to marijuana.
Okay. So have you seen in the last year a difference in incarceration rates when it comes to marijuana?
Oh, definitely. They have dropped tremendously. But that's, the law pertains to the legal amounts. So if somebody is dealing, they're still subject to being arrested and incarcerated.
Right. But I don't think anybody needs to be a drug dealer anymore, since you can just go walk to a dispensary, right?
Well, there's always a black market. It's
right.
Cheaper. They get marijuana from Mexico and other drugs. So it's dangerous, actually.
Oh, really?
Because almost every drug is getting laced with fentanyl now. So it's much safer to go to a dispensary.
No, I agree, and I hope that there's some education when it comes to marijuana or some other stuff, because in the world in my world with education, we're seeing that everything is getting laced with fentanyl, and that is a huge problem. And it's been a problem for a while, but like I can just think of like a 14-year-old getting handed something, taking it, and they never wake up. So that's really sad. So the average person, they're 21, they can walk into a dispensary, they can get the legal amount of that. Is there any law that pertains to like maybe a DUI or DWI when it comes to marijuana?
Yes. I couldn't give you the exact numbers, but it's basically based on behavior and driving. It's very difficult for them to test people for amounts of THC in the blood because it shows up at a certain level whether or not somebody is actually under the influence. So I don't think that's being used. It's based on how someone drives.
All right, well, that's good. So our main focus is what happens when somebody got busted for maybe possession of marijuana was illegal. So what's going on now in the state of Arizona where it's legal for me and you and our viewers out there to recreational, just like smoke a joint? But what does that mean for the people who are already in prison?
Well, most people who are affected are people who were charged with low-level crimes. If they're in prison, they had a large amount, and that's not going to help them. But now there is, since the beginning of the year when Prop 207 went into effect, there's an opportunity to clear your record if you've had 2.5 ounces or less on your record of possession. And so that enables people to go online, do the paperwork, petition a court, and set aside that record. Arizona, unfortunately, is not like other states like California, just automatically cleared everyone's record for those low-level offenses. But in Arizona, you have to file paperwork. And it's not easy for everyone to do. So there was an effort to fund groups to do this. There was a grant that one group got, but they focused exclusively on Maricopa County in clearing records, or expungement, as they call it. But Arizona NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, has decided to take this on in the rest of the state and is traveling around doing expungement workshops. So an attorney will guide somebody through the whole process and help them file the paperwork.
Nice. How long would people have to wait for that felony or conviction to get off their record?
It varies according to the courts, but it could be anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of months.
Okay.
But the actual process only takes about 10 minutes if you know what to do, which most people do not. They have no clue of where to turn. So recently, the Yavapai Democratic Party sponsored with Arizona NORML 2 expungement workshops, one in Camp Verde and one in Prescott Valley. And they'll probably do more in the future.
Okay, what is Arizona NORML?
Arizona NORML is the state branch of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And it's an organization that advocates for people who use marijuana, for people who sell it, for the industry in general, and primarily for the country to reform the laws.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice, yeah. And, I don't know about you, but you read the history books and you kind of experience on your own. Prohibition just doesn't work in America, right?
Right.
So I'm glad to see that we're stepping in the right direction of decriminalizing it, making it legal. But so when it comes to the expungement on their record, what are some of the things that these people that got busted for marijuana in the past, what was their consequences in the larger scheme of things?
A lot of consequences. First of all, it was classified as a felony in Arizona, possession of any amount. And not only the actual marijuana product, but also the container that it was in and or any paraphernalia used with it. So if those were found on your person, you were charged 3 times.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
For instance. And so what that did was create an underclass of people who, just by dint of being caught with that, were turned down for jobs, because almost all applications have a box on them that asks, have you ever been charged with a felony? So even if it was reduced to a misdemeanor as a first offense, they would still have to check that box. And if they didn't and the employer found out, they were still dismissed. It precluded people from getting apartments, loans, car loans, just a whole array of areas you wouldn't even think of, that if you have a felony conviction, you are automatically, exempt from being considered for.
That's so crazy. Just to think that having a little bit of weed and just that paraphernalia could just really ruin someone's life,
Absolutely. Another one that I learned about recently is college scholarships.
Really?
Yes. That is an area. So someone who is wanting to go to college and has a scholarship and loses it, and that makes them, as I said, sort of a second-class citizen. They can't even get support for their education.
Mm-hmm. So what your efforts are and what AZ NORML efforts are doing is trying to kind of rehabilitate these people to get them on the right track of their life, right? Because if you have a felony, there's only a handful of jobs you can get.
Yeah, it limits job opportunities, and it even limits the opportunity for citizenship. One of the people who came to a workshop recently is a DACA student, and by clearing this record, he will finally be able to petition to become a citizen, whereas before it wasn't even a possibility, even though he's marrying an American citizen.
Wow. Oh, so there's so much layers and layers and layers, and I always thought it's funny just for a substance. Like alcohol is a substance, but we don't have strong restrictions besides 21 on that, and I think that causes more issues with that, with humans, you know.
Well, we punish people for driving while they're intoxicated or under the influence for good reason, because they're threatening other people's lives. But marijuana smokers, very rarely have they found people who are exclusively using marijuana who have been a threat in any way. So it was overkill for a lot of years. And I think this is social justice, righting a wrong.
Good. It should be. And so when you're talking about the different states, why do you think that Arizona just didn't expunge everybody's record? Why are they making everybody go through the process?
Because Arizona does not like drug use.
Okay.
There's been, especially in this county, a very strong bias against people who have been accused of any kind of drug crime. A few months ago, was on a jury in Yavapai County in which a black man who was traveling through Camp Verde was pulled over, and there were two black men in the car, and the police harassed them to the point where they assented to a search. And there were like 3 cars there. They were pulled over for like an hour plus under a lot of pressure. And they found a little bag of spice, you know, this fake marijuana, bath salts, whatever you call it. And that was a drug that was legal, then not legal, then legal, then not legal. And so the person may not have even known it was illegal, because you could buy it legally at truck stops and odd places. And still, they pursued this case against him. And I can only imagine how this affected his life. 7 years after the fact, it went to a jury trial because they could never agree on a plea. And he decided he would just take his chances. And he lucked out because the jury looked at this case, thought that it was kind of a setup by the police, thought it was a ridiculous case to pursue after all that time. And we declared him not guilty.
Well, good. Wow, 7 years somebody's left to have that on their
record. But I've
record.
heard of other cases like that, and they're still pursuing them. So, yeah, luckily the law is on the side of people who've, you know, had these possession cases in the past now.
Okay, well, that's good. You know, what has there been changes of medical marijuana?
No, if you have a medical marijuana card, I think that entitles you not to pay taxes or a certain amount of taxes. It's like a medication. And other than that, you know, the dispensaries serve medical marijuana patients first.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't think there's much of a difference.
Okay.
The limits are the same.
So we're seeing a whole influx of states across the country decriminalizing marijuana, making it legal for recreational use. Is there any other type of drugs that are coming down the pipeline that could be decriminalized? I know that maybe Oregon and Denver did psilocybin, I think, but is that like a push? Have you seen that?
Not in this state, but I haven't
yeah.
heard anything about that in this state. It'll probably be one of the last ones to do that. But yeah, certain psychedelic substances are being considered for therapy treatment.
Yes.
So for people who have depression, PTSD, I mean, that was one of the arguments for legalizing marijuana for medical use in the beginning, was that there were a lot of veterans and police officers who were retired and other people who had PTSD from various situations in their lives. And the state resisted allowing research for years related to that, and in fact defunded a researcher at ASU. So, yeah, it's been a tough state. And one of the things we didn't talk about is how minorities were affected by illegal marijuana. In Yavapai County, Black people were 5.7 times more likely to be arrested than white people for possession. And the state found, and is trying to address the inequity, that certain counties that were higher population of Latinx and Native Americans were also charged more likely than their white counterparts.
Wow, that really sounds like the war on drugs from Nixon back in the day, right? Now, do you think it's like targeting those certain groups? I mean, I don't want to say that, Arizona people stereotype other people, but it seems like if one minority is getting pulled over more for possession, it could happen.
It's a possibility. I mean, there's no evidence that, police officers were discriminatory, but they were definitely more likely to be charged because if they're of a lower income, they can't afford a lawyer. They can't spend money on strategies to fight it. And so they're more likely to have the charges not dropped and not reduced.
Okay. Now tell me that I'm crazy, but everything that we're talking about just seems like it's a little bit classism or class warfare.
Oh, yeah. The war on drugs has always been class warfare. And still to this day, crack is classified differently from cocaine, which makes no sense whatsoever. But Black dealers and users were much more likely to be incarcerated for crack, whereas white users of cocaine were not.
Mm-hmm.
Can't explain that one.
Yeah, because, I don't really know the difference. I mean, I know the
Well, crack
I know what cocaine and crack is, but like
crack
you
is
smoke
more,
it, right?
I guess, concentrated. But there's a whole story behind that. That was invented by the CIA.
Oh, let's not get into conspiracy theories, Toni.
It's not a conspiracy theory.
It isn't?
It's a fact. There's been plenty written about it. It's a whole long thing.
Okay. Next time when we talk about that. Okay, so moving forward, where can people find information to get their records expunged if they need to?
The best thing to do is contact someone from Arizona Normal, and that's on the web, ArizonaNorml.org. And somebody there can help them or at least advise them of someone they can talk to. I know there's an attorney in Camp Verde who's willing, and Cottonwood, that are willing to help people. And so, here locally, they can even find someone who will volunteer their services.
Right. And is it an expensive process to go through?
No.
No?
It's free.
Oh.
It has to be. It's part of the law.
Okay. Even better.
It's kind of sad because there are hundreds of thousands of people who have these convictions on their records, and only a few thousand have taken advantage of this. Maybe 5,000 tops, because the last time I checked, like 4 months ago, it was a little over 3,000.
Okay.
So they need to avail themselves of this if they want to clear the records and be able to vote and have all the rights restored.
All right, that would be great, especially over something that they changed the law and just hurts your life. You can't pursue happiness. You can't pursue life or liberty when you're just dragged down by that. Well, Toni, we're running out of time. I just want to say thank you again for coming on our show. I feel like I'm always educated about what's going on in our county. And for those viewers at home, if you want to know more information about getting your records expunged, we'll have it in the description. Thank you again, Toni, and I can't wait to our next conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us for another episode of 5 Senses. You can find us at 5enses.mag.com. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And next episode, I sit down with Joe Trudeau from Save the Dells. So until next time, this is Robert Zinni signing off for 5 Senses.